From the onset of my advanced media portfolio, I was aware that audience feedback would significantly shape the direction of my short film, film poster, and magazine review, and thus the impact of my research, planning, and construction stages of production. Constantly paying close attention to my target and potential audience's needs and demands ensured that my final product had an increased chance of being more effective in actually capturing an audience's attention. At the very first stage of production, I conducted a basic audience research questionnaire. The questionnaire was designed to establish a potential market's interest in the science fiction genre and their preferences regarding subgenre, their favourite science fiction film, and text they'd already seen in the past. For me to justify the viability of my overall production choice of the science fiction genre, I also examined the frequency that participants watched these kind of texts. This research consequently led me to create a target audience profile based on my own foreknowledge of film, my initial science fiction research, and the results from my audience questionnaire. At this stage of my audience research, I plan to focus on educated males and females in the age range of 16 to 45. Looking back at my work, I could have researched into ethical issues, morality, class, employment, and other psychographic information to tailor my product more precisely to my target market. During the planning and construction stages of my short film, The 11th Hour, I used a focus group to gain some qualitative feedback from my media teacher and peers who fell within my target audience. I found this form of audience feedback extremely effective, as I asked participants to point out any errors or faults with my film. In addition, I made sure I clearly indicated that I wanted to receive constructive criticism in order to improve my production by making cuts and changes where necessary. From this audience feedback, I learned that my first draft needed some image stabilization due to the occasional camera shake, the titles needed to be more fitting to the genre, and the footage also needed some colour grading. As a result, I added a strong colour grading to my short film, stabilized the shots using Adobe After Effects, and slightly changed the title at the start and ends of the sequence. I used changes from my first draft audience feedback session to produce a second draft of my short film. This version was screened at the Media Awards evening, where I created a second research questionnaire and used a focus group to establish my target and potential market's thoughts on the current state of my production. From this questionnaire, I aimed to find detailed information about the technical construction of my short film. This included the music atmosphere, location style, colour mood, narrative, and the cinematic quality of the shots. After the night of the media evening, the response from the audience feedback was outstanding, with 100% answering positively on all questions I asked. This result reinforced that my moving image product was highly successful, as the potential market couldn't identify any flaws in the text I produced. On the other hand, my focus group repeatedly stated that the titles at the end of the 11th hour needed to have my name removed, and they needed to be more creative. Since these comments were made, significant changes were applied to the typography of the text by manipulating the font serifs, size, and spacing. The final stage of audience feedback involved a focus group of young males from my target audience. While it is not conventional to gather quantitative information from a focus group, I used the opportunity I had to ask a selection of questions about my main task and my two ancillary products. To construct my questions, I used the advanced portfolio marking criteria for film and print-based work. At the end of the feedback session, I also asked participants to summarize their thoughts and holistically mark my production. Like most of my audience feedback throughout my entire production, the responses were very positive, with 9 being the mode of all data collected, and therefore I am very happy with my 3 products I have created and the ways in which my audience feedback have helped me adapt my short film, magazine review, and film poster to fit my target and potential audience's needs.